there's no music.
Even when there's no music.
Every time.
Dude, it's so good though.
Dude, we were just talking,
Completely
this is the
offbeat.
first time that we've been out in the woods since we started
November.
since we
Almost a
started the
year, yeah.
podcast. And so we got back, and it's been a blast just being out in Mother Nature. This, we'll go into some shorts with it later, but this is one of my favorite places I've ever been. This is my happy place.
I feel like you're biased.
Oh, I'm absolutely biased, and I'm okay with that.
It's all right. It's a
I'll
good
tell
place.
you, it is really nice down here. We only had, an hour and a half of daylight. We got to see a little bit of it. It was pretty spectacular.
We'll get some videos, pictures showing up on the site and on the thing and on the podcast.
Make sure you like and share.
I got to brag on West Virginia before we get that far, because this state is beautiful. If you've never been, visit and then go back.
That's right.
This is ours, but this place is beautiful.
Sure. You
Sure.
get it. It's
Sure.
the pocket dust.
You can do the like, share, subscribe.
like, share, subscribe.
It might be right there.
It might
He's
be.
got to bring it down a
Let's
little
hope.
bit.
It's not
At least we
even
don't have that
close.
soundboard.
You know, the nice thing is...
Oh, I
this
do.
is-
It's here.
Yeah.
Does it have the delay and all that stuff on it?
Oh,
You know what? I'm all right
outside
with
film
it.
sessions.
Jared's 5 feet away from us, so he can't reach.
I'm sorry, what was that?
T-Rex arms.
See you next time.
I think my favorite part
I'll
is...
just hit it twice as much when we're back in the studio. Every time you go to talk.
Are we calling Nick's basement a studio now?
We'll loosely call that a studio.
Love you, dude. I think the best part is it's close to home. Like, the trail we had to come down, I think we'll probably get some shorts from Jared's feedback. I just
Feedback.
your feedback, whatever it was.
GoPro.
GoPro.
feedback.
You took a video. My brain said feedback from the trip down. Anyway, so we're in the
That is
Jeep,
accurate.
legit bouncing around like crazy, and it's the first time I had the Jeep four-wheeling. And I mean, the trail coming in was awesome, but we're 10 minutes from where at least I live. So this is West Virginia, man. It's
We're
awesome.
only 10 minutes from Huntington, West Virginia.
10 minutes from Huntington, yes.
We're a bit of ways away from where I live. So.
Everything's a bit of ways from where you live.
Only certain things.
Like
Like
the
everything.
police and 911.
He's got the prison.
Walmart.
He does have the prison.
He's got signs up that says we don't call 911.
Right. We handle this ourselves. So it's been a while since we've been here, and we'll jump into a question it's pretty fitting for this. One, first and foremost, I value my family time and my time with God above everything else in my life.
100%.
But moments like this, finding your group and getting out together, this is also worth scheduling. One, it's good to plan ahead, because if you don't have it planned and scheduled, it's probably not going to happen. So it's really important to keep encouraging each other to hang out and to make moments like this. Because as men, yes, it's great to be around our families, and it's great to be in fellowship with the Lord, and we're still that with Him here together as this group. But it's good to get away and be men together.
Can you read the question?
Yeah. So jumping into the question, I guess he's the host tonight.
Hey, I'm just putting it out there because you started segueing it, bro.
So the question leads into kind of what we're doing here tonight, just hanging out together again. So it says, you guys seem to have the whole adult friendship thing down pat. So my question is, how do you navigate adult friendships when you have things like conflicting work schedules and other obligations that make scheduling time to hang out harder?
Well, let's talk about this trip. I think we initially started planning this trip back in the spring when we took, or in the winter when we took our last trip. And as a result of our schedules, now we're almost a year out from our last trip. And this particular trip was probably put on the calendar for sure about 2 months ago. So we were balancing the needs of our families above everything else, and then setting aside specific time whenever those priorities don't take place. And we're giving ourselves enough lead time so that we can prioritize this. And you know, with being married and having kids, there's obviously sacrifices that are taking place right now. You know, like my wife had to forego an event because we're doing this. But because we had lead time, 2 months out, it was like, hey, this is the priority. This is what we're doing. And honestly, we need this. So when I put this on the calendar, Amanda's like, yep, got your back. We're going to make sure that you can get out there. I understand how important this is, and really for us as men to get out like this in the wild, even though we're 20 minutes down the road, it's critically important for us.
I think that was a key point too. Given our spouse and our family lead time, so that they're not, caught off guard. Hey, I'm going out this weekend. Take it or leave it, kind of thing. You can't.
That's selfish.
That's selfish. It's irresponsible. It's just wrong. So you give that lead time, and also you work out with this whole group. Is this thing going to work? Can this work? Can y'all make it? And if it doesn't, 9 times out of 10, we're going to say, well, we're just not going to do it. If not, all of us can make it.
Yeah.
And we'll switch to the date or something like that. So it's, lead time for your family because, God, family, then everything else.
I think the only time we've ever done one of these trips where all of us wasn't in the trip was when something came up very last minute. Like a day before we were supposed to leave, somebody would have to, their scheduled time off didn't work and had to still go into the office or still go to work and just couldn't make it work for that particular trip, and we decided to, as a group, to go on ahead and move forward. But those are very few and far between.
And the few that have, the other person gets brought up more than a lot of, I just wish Andy was here. I wish Jared, typically it's me or you not here. So,
Well, the military had me by the balls. So.
Well, that one trip we went on,
Here for you, right?
the one trip we went on, every time a plane flew over, it's like, is that Andy? Is that Andy?
I wanted to make a point to fly over your head because, that was good stuff.
You probably could have heard
Crop
Ryan
dusters.
yelling goodnight from the plane.
I'm still pretty deaf from the last time you did that. I'm scared because we're all staying in one tent tonight, so I might.
and Andy too much. I'm kidding.
It's a large tent.
It's a huge tent.
Ready?
Nick's the
Here's-
only one that's got a cuddle, but he's cuddling on Jared's side. So,
Good.
yes, getting away in moments like this it's awesome, but this reminds me of it's quality over quantity. So even if you don't get to do this, when you are in the moment, you get to have those little one-on-one conversations. We guys, other than at church, we get together typically every other Saturday or every couple Saturdays and do this, right? So we get to have a little more than just these big events. But when we're there and those conversations that we're having, there's some of the more important conversations as men that as a man I get to have because I'm being sharpened by other. Is iron sharpens iron, right? I'm being sharpened and I'm being honed. So I think the small moments that they matter, and you need to make the most of them when you can. But it's super important to make the big trip.
I'd say even for the times where we do our podcast, and we typically record on Saturday mornings, even those things we are talking about in advance. I don't think we've recorded for the last couple of weeks because there have been priorities that have taken place for this podcast. And it's because, again, like Ryan said, God, family, everything else afterwards. So we are prioritizing the things that we need to do for our families. In this podcast, we love each other like brothers for
Trouble
life.
is we all have a ton of stuff on our plates anyways. And we schedule it early in the morning to not interfere with their family time. Because we know this is important, but everything else we cannot neglect that to take on something extra. And we all have limited time.
Well, one of the other things too is like, even when we're not together, like hanging out doing the podcast or hanging out at a campfire, we're the friendship we've built over the years. We're talking to each other almost as much as we are kind of family throughout the day too, and we really lean on each other day in and day out for continual like support and things like that, just from that kind of that men in arms brotherly support.
Yeah, friendships won't survive if you're just reaching out in times of need only. We're in constant contact, checking on each other, goofing off, sending stupid GIFs.
Stupid
GIFs.
GIFs. All right, here's a question for what is it?
GIFs.
It's GIFs. The
GIFs.
people who created this stupid thing says
I don't
they're
care.
GIFs.
I don't care.
GIFs.
That's peanut butter.
That's-
I like GIFs
Yes,
personally.
that's my argument.
Alright,
It's
wait,
peanut
wait,
butter.
wait.
So
We're totally derailing.
So
and this is
so
a great
the
argument.
British called Jaguar, and they're the ones that create they created the car, but that doesn't mean they're pronouncing it correctly.
Yeah, but
1776,
Abraham
who
Lincoln
won?
said GIF. Anyway,
And Abraham Lincoln
let's do a
said that
poll.
everything on the
Real
internet's
quick,
correct.
Let's do a poll. Anybody who watches this, is it GIF or GIF? And you must have a source for your answer.
So how are they going to answer?
He's going to make a poll.
I'm gonna make a poll.
Yeah, how are we going to do
You
that?
are, Nick.
Like have a recording of, and then you have to click on the recording and choose one
They
because they're
have to
spelled the
phonetically
same.
spell it. They have
Just
to
do
phonetically
They have
spell
to
it.
comment on the video.
Yeah,
put
just
it out.
comment.
Yeah, either
Video
JIF or
comment.
GIF. Comment.
Comment below.
GIF or JIF.
You might get a free book
Go.
out of it. We'll see.
Oh, free
Yeah,
book.
we still have a couple of those.
Perry Stone, right?
No, Dr. Philip Richards.
So, Jared, you're going to say something.
Anyway,
Harry Stone. Whoa! Piece of fire going on the computer.
That's good.
We're doing it live.
By the way, we're in the middle of nowhere, and Nick brought all of this stuff.
Yes.
That's
Thank you,
impressive.
Like, pretty awesome
So,
stuff.
are you in the middle of?
I
Jared?
was just saying that it's important.
What me?
It's important to stay in contact. Friendships last when you are continually, not just meet every day or every second or something like that, but just to be in thought. If you have a prayer or need, a prayer request, a thought, something funny, hey, I thought about you today, I was praying for you today, whatever, reach out and send a small message, that kind of stuff. I think you said adult relationships.
Yeah.
I still see myself as a kid. They act like idiots.
Yeah, I mean, you ask our spouses, we're still 12.
Yeah.
Definitely 12. 12 is the maximum age of maturity for a male.
But we have a great
That is
time
scientific.
A great time.
being non-mature.
I don't think I made it past 10.
There are days.
That's pretty generous
You
with
look
that.
like it.
I followed in my dad's footsteps.
I mean, really think about it though. That's exciting. That's kind of fun. Like, we have the ability to still retain our youth and have a good time. As we're engaging with our families, it's almost like we have to, I don't know, you have to grow up. You have to be a leader. You have to engage and encourage your children and be support for your wife. But man, when we get out here with just the guys, you just get to be yourself.
We're a bunch
You
of-
get to hold.
we're a bunch of
you get to let
goobers.
go a little bit and back to 12 years old again.
Men
I was-
are men, and we still have kids in us. We still have rambunctiousness. And a story I just remembered was we went to a wedding last weekend, and I won't mention names, but we were on the dance floor, a slow song, dancing with our wives. I see this old couple, and this man, he grabbed his wife by the cheeks and was dancing with her, and she was like grabbing his hand, lifting him up to her hips, and he kept putting his hand down. It cracked me up. I loved every second of it. And I went up to him and I said, I'll just call him Bob. I said, Bob, I saw what you're doing there. Right there. You're getting frisky, and I loved every second of it. I said, keep young, man. Keep young. He
Yes.
said, that's right. So it's, we're only as old as we feel and old as we think.
Driving to work this morning, I hit the top of the road. I was literally by myself in my car. I sounded, I'm an idiot.
That's true.
In my car, completely by myself. I hit the top of the hill to Westover, and here was like 40 hot air balloons. I'm going to pull my mic down. And I went, oh my gosh, look at the balloons! And I looked around, like, I'm in the car by myself. Who am I talking to?
Yourself.
Well, shoot, dude.
I'm a 10-year-old kid.
We were coming out to try to pick you up, and I'm just like,
Watching these two. So when we get down here, and we have some video we'll post with this on the site, but watching these guys climb rocks and go over down up and down rocks, and you're just like, dude, and you see the pure joy on their face. I don't think since we've been here
It's
I've
adventure.
not been smiling.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it is an adventure. Even though like we're not backpacking this trip, but we're four-wheeling, and like that every bit is just as much fun because, some of the thrill of backpacking is the adventure and the danger as well. And we had all of that with the four-wheeling, and it could have messed up and came off a rock the wrong way, and you're up on your roof, and in the back of the Jeep where it has the words upside down, somebody could actually read that the correct
It's
way.
like your Jeep, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, right. It wasn't my Jeep; it was his. So.
yeah, well, there may or may not be some rust damage there that, that back left him a little on.
It'll be fine.
JB Weld,
And
shout
then
out.
I still love.
Hey, we need to sponsor
I
JB Well.
love I always look forward to stuff like this and nights like this because I know the stories that we're going to be talking about later on down the road. Like, how many trips have we been on? And it's like that
Oh, yeah.
same old story we've heard a dozen times, but
We still talk
You
about
want
like,
to.
oh hey, we almost died this time.
Like Jared's trip,
Which one?
the one you led us forever and ever. It's just too much.
Oh, it's almost right here. We're almost
Roughly. It was roughly
roughly a quarter of a mile.
I didn't lie. It was roughly a quarter of a mile. I didn't have my GPS watch at the
Define
time.
roughly.
It's anywhere
Plus or
between
minus.
here and there.
so was it
5 to 10 miles.
so was it as close to my description as to get down here?
Dude,
Yeah,
when you told us about
He
this
said I
trip,
underrated it.
Oh,
Did I
you
say- I
totally
thought I was
underrated
pretty-
it.
I sold it pretty good.
you said, "Hey, we're gonna park at my father-in-law's house, and then we'll go in from there." And I'm thinking, okay, cool. We're gonna have like a actual legit dirt road. No, it's freaking treacherous, 18-inch drop.
Or it's dirt.
Rock
it's a
face
road and
steps.
it's dirt, right?
No, it used to be a road 100 years ago.
More than 100.
Dude,
What did
like,
you think?
it's a
I
goat
sold it pretty
path.
fair, right? Or was it more intense than you thought?
I honestly thought it was less intense than you described.
Thanks.
I was wanting bigger hills. I wasn't some
So
adventure.
you are a true man.
So here's the
No,
thing.
that's
When,
So you're a
What?
conservative.
I'm a conservative.
here's the thing when you were describing.
There ain't no libtards in this
like,
group.
It's,
When I grow up to be a man, I want to be a liberal.
Nick, we're live.
You gotta be,
I don't care.
You got to choose one. You can't be both.
he
son.
likes that word.
Listen here, all you libtards.
No. I'd rather have the soundboard. I
Listen,
think.
he's only speaking for all of us.
So, Jared, you're saying the way I described it was what?
the way you described it. I mean, where I'm from, I live on a dirt
I
road,
love that.
so like
Listen,
I
he's always
automatically
been
assume when
problems.
anyone starts saying all four drive only, blah 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 blah, that it's really not that bad. And it was a bit more intense than what I had envisioned when you were describing it. Because I honestly thought I could bring my truck down.
So I've
So I said
Yeah,
roughly.
definitely.
Yeah,
well, it's
I
a
was
rough
thinking, should I
road.
bring my truck down? But I'm glad I did.
And what did I say? You don't make it, but the turns are going to be too tight.
So I've got a Jeep TJ. It's an older model. It's a little smaller than the ones you see
Beautiful.
mostly on the road. It's awesome, but it's got an oh crap handle sitting right there, and everybody who sat in the passenger seat, death gripping that Batman
Because
pajama
you'll bounce out.
you're doing
Yeah,
this.
because you took the doors off.
Well, that
So
made it
that's
a
what you're
quality
supposed to do.
experience.
so
That's
I-
why we was
so
grabbing
I
the old
didn't-
crap handle. You had a
I
hold of the
one
steering
hand on-
wheel.
I had one hand on the handle, and I had my other hand out the side of the Jeep recording video.
You did reach over and grab my hand one time.
I can't
once.
believe no
Okay.
one's eating those
Yeah.
burgers.
But it
What?
wasn't very much.
I can't believe you guys wasted the food he brought. Well, there
man.
goes my phone.
All right, here we are live. Ryan gonna chop off Josh's foot.
Ryan got this incredible axe. It's got this nice curve on the handle, and it's got about an 18-inch handle, maybe 24-inch. It's solid though. I mean,
When he
you're
swings,
watching him
We're
swing.
gonna go to camera 2 to
That's
get a good
solid oak,
shot
too.
of that.
Yeah, it makes the
Uh,
ground shake. Like it might actually show up
Okay,
on the Richter
guys,
scale.
you've really oversold this.
Why are you It's a bringing that great closer to my axe.
Move your feet, bro.
So, again, we'll keep saying it. Find a group, find a friend,
Find,
make time.
find a
Don't
friend.
neglect your family. Don't neglect
God.
the responsibilities that you have. But as you can tell, we have a lot of fun, and you've got to make time to get out and refresh yourself.
The tarp was only $15, so if we mount it, it's all right. By the way,
We'll find
Amazon
out.
plug, $15 tarp. It's, I don't know, 10 by 10. Pretty awesome stuff.
Any final thoughts? I mean, before we, I think we've
I
kind of
think-
shared enough, but
Yeah, I think I went, so, surprise, I've been divorced.
What?
I don't think we've ever talked about this.
What? That's
We've
Wait,
never
you have-
covered this on any
Wait a second.
episodes.
No, we haven't.
Was that topic covered in court
you have
recently?
problems in your personal
Weird.
life.
I'm so concerned.
I would have
and
never thought.
confused.
Anyway,
Who'd have thunk it?
so one of the things I didn't do well in my first marriage was continue to have relationships with men, other men, and getting
That did not come across right,
Maybe
Andy.
that might have been what caused your.
okay friendships.
Friendships. There you go, buddy. There you
Friendships.
go. That sounds much, much better.
Can we edit that?
Nope, we're
No.
doing live.
No, we are live.
I put my foot in
We
my mouth
don't
a lot.
ever edit his laugh. We're not editing this.
I don't know. Well, he's got his microphone out there. Anyway, so my first marriage, I really didn't have friendships outside of the marriage, and I can tell you that just by having friendships, it gives me a chance to get away, to have I don't know, just brotherhood. There's a significant quality to getting out and getting away from the house and still being able to just be a man.
100%. And women, if there's women that listen to this podcast, women need the same thing.
They absolutely
And
do.
Completely agree.
I tell my wife often, and now a lot of women though they'll say, "But I like being with the family. I like being home and this stuff." And that's fine if they choose that.
Yeah.
But men, we're much more willing, I guess, to just go out into the wilderness because we're always seeking that adventure. We don't want to be, I guess, just tied down. That sounds like a bad word. But
Not
just
tied
feeling stale,
down.
feeling stale or something. We like that adventure. We need to get out to recharge and come back stronger. And I'll tell you, every time we go out, we talk about our wives the whole time we're here.
I was just getting ready to say
And our
that.
families.
And then we'll start talking about our kids, and
yeah.
it's like, man, I wish I could just talk
Can't
to
wait
them
to
tonight.
get home.
So Ryan, you may have to repeat all of that. These two over here were having side conversations. I couldn't hear a single thing you were
It
saying.
wasn't that
I
important.
covered my mic.
Bruh.
Oh, well, I don't have your headphones on, so I couldn't hear anyhow.
Did you hear me, Jared?
No.
Like and subscribe.
Just share.
Um,
You know how many shares I'm going to have to put in this episode?
oh, how you doing on the alien?
Yeah. The macrame.
I have the components to make such of a
So you have
challenge.
paper, water, and glue.
I have the I've got Food Line paper, the paper bags. That's really good stuff.
Okay.
So I'm gonna use that as the exoskeleton. And then I've got paper mache. It's gonna be sweet. I'm gonna do it.
So what Nick and I were talking about was
We don't care.
No.
it was tying into supporting what you were saying.
Okay.
You're like, we need your support.
No, so our wives
Okay.
talk to each other all the time, similar to how we have our chat group. They chat all day, every day. Sometimes Nick will give us an update on stuff that's going on.
Are you talking gifts?
GIFs.
No.
Gifts. I'm a gift guy.
Gifts.
GIF. So sometimes
You'd ask JJ on what he thinks of gifts.
Oh, well.
my wife will tell me something that's going on with Nick before Nick tells us, because his wife and my wife are that tied in, talking to one another. Just to support how important it is that, our wives also need the time with other women to just talk, vent, discuss things that are going on, and share life. I mean, it's critical.
Well, it's also important to. I encourage it, and it's
Or if it's Andy.
stepping up, and I love being. It's not a burden if she wants to go do something for me to just hang out with my kids. Absolutely, that's part of our lives and responsibilities. It's like,
And we are not babysitting our kids.
No, they're our
hate that
kids.
phrase. I have. I know a guy. And he said that. He goes, I can't. I forget what we're gonna do. Go get dinner or something. He was like, I can't. I gotta babysit tonight. I'm like, babysit your nephew? Or he's like, no, my kid. I'm like, okay. I don't know if I can be your friend anymore.
So I took a picture one time. I had all 7 kids in the car with me when they were all still coming around, and it was such a great day. We had Austin back then, which was like 2 years ago, and we've got him again now. And all 7 kids. I'm like, let's do this thing. One dude, 7 kids. Let's make it happen. It was awesome. It's just,
the looks you probably get.
oh, it's incredible. You get out of the car and people are like, what is this dude doing? Like all these, it's a clown car.
They're looking at you like Jim Bob Duggar.
Oh yeah, man, it's a Nissan Armada, and the
Oh,
kids
Jim
just
Bob.
blop, 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 and they
I
all
like how
decide to
you're
go out
using the
one
sound
door.
effect plop.
I'm not allowed to use sound effects, but
dude,
he
have
is.
you ever seen blop?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the airborne videos where dudes pop out the back of the airplane?
Yeah.
It's just blop, blop, blop,
Airborne!
blop, blop, airborne. Don't judge me. Anyway, it was just, that picture was a moment of pride for me. And just because it's like, these are my kids. I take ownership. I love my children. And I love that I can handle 7 kids on one dude. Like, bring it on. I can handle it. Let's go take you to Target. Let's go figure out who needs socks and go get some Annie Ann's or whatever it is. That was
Do
a
not
cool day,
support
man.
Target anymore.
Target.
Where's Target?
Target.
Oh,
Brigitte Port and Mojon.
I love learning new stuff in front of the camera. He's like, "What's Target?"
Target.
Target.
You're a nice
Anyway,
little buddy.
bring us back, Josh.
No, I think we're going to wrap up. That was.
I'm missing the clock. On
I know.
the
It's like I want to keep
countdown.
asking Nick, how much time do we
Time
have?
check.
I almost brought the clock too, but I was like, nah, that's
One more point to the
That's
to the
excessive.
question. I don't know who asked the question, but adult relationships, they don't happen overnight, and you don't have to have something that's who you're friends with now, because we were friends
No.
6
We were-
years ago.
We were acquaintances.
Yeah,
Like,
but
I-
mean,
I saw
like
all
you
of
and
you in passing at the
You
church.
and I have known each other for
we
like
mentioned it all.
over a decade, but
Yeah.
like
So it wasn't until
we
got
weren't
here that-
really close though until
Right. Well, I'm just being like, just because you might not have a close knit group of friends right now, if you're in your 20s or even your 30s, that doesn't mean you're not going to have a close knit. I mean, you just got to find those people that you click with, and then honestly, I don't even know if all of us would have been friends necessarily in high school or college, because we all have different backgrounds, different lives.
oh no, you'd have beat me up.
I will say this: we do,
That would beat you up.
but it would not have been good for us.
ongoing theme.
Probably not.
Not
I
at
think
all.
that's a good takeaway, though. Is like the commonalities we have. Really, Christ is our foundation,
Yeah,
and
Christ
that's
is our
what brings us
foundation.
together. I mean, Ryan, you're a sports guy. I'm just freaking out to lunch all day long. And professionally, we all do very different
lunch.
things. What?
I like lunch.
I like lamb.
Cheeseburger.
Brick, do you really love lamp, or are you just looking at things?
I love lamb.
Let's see if anybody gets that reference.
Anyway, so like,
Comment if you get that reference.
I don't get it.
Rick would
I love
become
lamb.
a advisor to President Bush.
I still don't get it.
That's
But
all right.
we don't have really much in common besides Christ. That he's our foundation. I mean, Nick and I are both dorks. We've talked about that.
True.
I mean, look, I'm in the middle of nowhere with a soundboard and a laptop.
But not a clock.
But not a clock.
I almost brought it. I really
Yeah,
did.
But I mean that's the point, that Christ has unified us, and through our commonality of being men and being fathers and being husbands, and those are the things that we really have in common. Everything else, we're just buddies.
We're at 28 minutes, by the way.
We're at 28 minutes.
I think that's perfect. Let's wrap it up.
Who was any volunteers? We do have another book to give away. We're going to bring on
Perry Sunbook?
the names. There's like first last names I'm going to butcher, but it's going to be Dr. Philip Richards.
Dr. Phil Richards. Yep.
And we're going to try to get that out. Probably in the next 2 weeks. We'll get that recorded. But just help us out. Like, we're almost at 100 subscribers. And
Sure.
for
Subscribers.
just
Subscribers.
I know, right? Well, I thought
Share.
about the sure thing, but
Every time you do that, you put sparks over here on my computer.
Shred some cinnamon.
Computer's not going to make it.
And,
By the way, sawdust
but help
over
us-
fire is cool.
help us get to 100. That'd be awesome. And it's no other than maybe it'll help us spread the word of God more. It'll help us just reach more people. So that's just our goal. Help us out with that, and find your group. Find your group. Start small. It'll build. Trust God for the timing, and it'll happen.
I would say it's not even find your group. Just get with other men. Get with men that are seeking the Lord, and you'll find your group.
That's true. You know what? Before we do wrap up, I think that the big thing there is you can't just find a person or a body. Make sure they have the Holy Spirit. I mean, you want good, wise counsel in your group. Don't just find. And I'm not saying you're lonely and you have no friends, but I would think real hard. I'm thinking back in my past. I don't hang out really or talk to anybody from high school or college anymore. Not like this. And there's a reason that I don't. And there's a reason that I do associate with people that I know they believe in Jesus, and they have the Holy Spirit. They have good discernment and counsel, and it's people that I would trust around my family. I trust around my kids. You can't just surround yourself with a body. You have to surround yourself with someone who is in tune to what the Word says, because we need people who are stronger than our weaknesses are. It's much rarer, and they can
Amen.
lead more when we struggle, and we can lead when they struggle. We can't have people that keep helping us repeat the same mistakes, or, oh, there's nothing wrong with that. You need people that put you in check, and you need people smarter than you in different areas to make you better. You should never be the smartest person in the room or the best person at every given thing in the room. You should surround yourself with people who make you better. Sorry, I rambled, but that's
No,
important.
No, it's all
that's
good
good.
stuff.
I think that's part of it. Is I think around this circle here, we each have the humility to take feedback from one another. If one of you guys come to me and say, "Hey, dude, you need to check yourself on this piece," I would take that, and that's because I love you guys and I trust you, and I know that you're not just going to come and attack me. I think that's something that within the church that we misconstrue today, is that when somebody puts something in out there that feels like a personal attack, it's not. We're trying to be unified and reflecting the image of Christ in all that we do. And if one of you guys come up to me and correct me and say, "Hey, dude, you need to check yourself on this," I know that you're not coming as a personal attack. You're coming at me saying that I know that you are a son of God and that you want to reflect the image of Christ in all that you do. And your feedback is going to take me closer to that goal. I'm a human. I'm not perfect. I'm going to fail. And you guys are my brothers to help lift me up and get me past that hurdle that is honestly blemishing the gospel message by my behavior, because I represent Christ everywhere I go. So your feedback is critical to my life.
And then one final thought, just because we talked to it earlier, and we'll truly wrap up this time, was, and this is something new to us that we just talked about, was confessing your sins to each other. It's even up until recently, this is something that we're going to start being more proactive about, is confessing your failings and your weaknesses, because once you've put the time in and you've earned the right to call a brother into check, or call out an action or a behavior that you can see that's not beneficial to them, you can help each other along the way. We don't have to go at this alone. I mean, there were 12 disciples. It's Peter or Paul and Timothy, right? You can't do it alone. And it's just always something to consider, and be vulnerable. Be vulnerable.
Be honest.
Yeah.
Humility.
All right, Nick, before I ramble on for another 28 minutes, take us home.
Ramble on.
Dude,
All right.
spit all that out, bro.
It's been a great episode out here in the wilderness of wild and wonderful West Virginia. Make sure. What was that?
It's a bear.
It was a bear.
It's a bear.
Go ahead and say it.
Bear crap in the woods sometimes. If you want to find out more about us, make sure you go to our website at mkdudtalk.com. Doesn't even faze me, does it? Nope.
Keep
No, it
rolling.
doesn't.
If you'd like to get in touch with us, make sure you shoot us an email at mkdudtalk@gmail.com. Like and share. Share.
Oh, I
Subscribe.
overshot.
You overshot it. There we go.
Yes.
Awesome.
And his harp is on fire.
Oh, you shut your mouth. That's a good flare up.
Oh my goodness. This is what we deal with here at Mountaineer Kingdom Dude Talk. So, for the always absent Andy to my left, your right, for the yes man Jared, for the coach Ryan, our host Josh, of course I am Nick, for Mountaineer Kingdom Dude Talk, real men, manly talk. So now we're going to pretend like we can hear the music, but you can hear the music. So here's 30 seconds of us acting awkward, pretending to hear the music.
We're just Andy.
No, we have to have our 30 seconds.